Hello and welcome to English Vibes, the podcast for learners who want to speak English with more confidence, more freedom, and more joy. I'm Paul, and I'm here to help you speak English more naturally, step by step, day by day. I'll be speaking slowly and clearly so you can follow me easily, and you can even repeat after me if you like. So, make yourself comfortable, relax, and let's dive in. Today's episode is one that many English learners around the world really need to hear. We're going to talk about how to stop translating in your head and start thinking directly in English. Maybe this has happened to you before. You want to say something in English, maybe you're in class, or speaking to a friend, or watching a movie, and suddenly your brain freezes. You start thinking in your own language first. Then you try to translate it word by word into English. But the words don't come out right. The sentence feels strange. You feel slow, nervous, or even embarrassed. Sound familiar? You are not alone. This happens to almost everyone who learns a new language. It's completely normal. But, and this is very important, it's not permanent. You can change this habit. You can train your brain to think in English naturally. And when you do, everything becomes easier, speaking, listening, even writing. In this episode, I'm going to explain why we translate, why it slows us down, and most importantly, how to stop doing it step by step. By the end, you'll know exactly what to practice each day so English starts to feel natural, not something you translate, but something you live. Ready? Let's begin. Let's start with a simple question. Why do we translate in our heads? When we learn English in school, we often learn it through our first language. Our teachers explain grammar in our language. They give us word lists with translations. We memorize, dog equals perro, table equals mesa, beautiful equals, water equals agua, and so on. At first, that helps. It builds your basic vocabulary. But after some time, this habit becomes a wall between you and fluency. Because every time you want to speak, your brain follows 3 slow steps. Think in your own language. Translate word by word. Try to speak in English. And in real conversations, that's too slow. By the time you finish translating, the other person has already moved to another topic. Translation also makes you feel unsure. You start worrying, is that the right word? Is my grammar correct? Instead of communicating, you're analyzing. Instead of flow, you feel stress. So our goal is not to stop translation instantly, that's impossible. Our goal is to reduce it little by little, until English becomes automatic. Think about how you learned your first language. You didn't translate anything. You heard, repeated, connected sounds and meanings directly. That's the magic we're going to bring back. Now, what does thinking in English really mean? Does it mean you never use your own language? Not exactly. It means that when you have a thought, your brain expresses it directly in English words, not in translation form. For example, imagine you see a cat. If your first thought is, cat, or gato, cat, that's translation. But if you see the cat and your first thought is simply, cat. Congratulations, that's thinking in English. It's about building direct connections between ideas and English words, without using your first language as a bridge. Thinking in English also means you start using English to describe your own world, your thoughts, your feelings, your daily activities. You stop waiting for perfect sentences and start using the language freely, even if it's simple. That's what fluent people do. They don't know every word, but they can always say something. They use the words they know to express what they mean. So the goal isn't perfection. The goal is flow, to make English feel natural, like water moving smoothly. Before we learn the techniques, you must make one big mindset change. Stop thinking of English as a school subject. Think of it as a living language, a tool you use to think, feel, and live. When you make English a part of your daily life, your brain starts to treat it as your language, not a foreign one. That's when translation begins to fade. So from now on, say this to yourself every day. English is not something I study. It's something I use. Let's say it together. English is not something I study. It's something I use. One more time. English is not something I study. It's something I use. Beautiful. Now let's talk about the practical part. I'm going to share 5 daily techniques that will help you train your brain to think directly in English. Each one is simple, powerful, and can fit into your real life, even if you're busy. We'll go step by step. Tip 1. Start with micro-thoughts in English. Your thoughts are like small sentences in your head. So, start by changing those sentences into English, one by one. When you wake up, think. It's morning. I feel sleepy. I want tea. When you go out. The sky is bright. The air feels fresh. I'm walking fast. When you're at work. I'm busy. I'm writing an email. I need a break. Don't worry about grammar. Don't try to make long sentences. Just think short and simple, but in English. At first, your brain will resist. It will want to go back to your native language. That's normal. But every time you catch yourself translating, pause and say, wait. Let me think that again, in English. This is very similar to what we call shadowing. You listen to English, podcasts, videos, songs, and you repeat what you hear immediately, like an echo. When you do this, your brain doesn't have time to translate. It just focuses on sound and rhythm. This rewires your brain to respond in English. Let's try a few sentences together. I'll say them, and you can repeat. I'm learning to think in English. Repeat. I don't need to translate everything. Repeat. English is becoming my second voice. Repeat. Excellent. That's how it works. Listen, repeat, no translation. Your mouth and mind begin to move together. Tip 3. Visual thinking. Connect English to images, not translations. This is one of the most powerful ways to stop translating. Our brains love pictures more than words. When you think in your native language, you connect an English word to your language's word. For example, apple, or apple manzana. But when a native English speaker thinks apple, they don't see the word, they see the fruit in their mind. That's what you want to train yourself to do, connect English words directly to images and experiences, not translations. Let's try something. I'll say a few words. As you listen, don't think of the translation. Just imagine the thing. Ready? Coffee. Rain. Mountain. Smile. Train. Book. Now notice, your brain showed you pictures, right? That's visual thinking in English. You didn't think translation. You just saw it. So, whenever you learn a new word, don't write the translation next to it. Instead, draw a small image or use an emoji. If you're using flashcards, write the English word on one side and paste a picture on the other side, no translation allowed. Over time, your brain will stop depending on your first language and start connecting directly to meaning. This is exactly how children learn languages, through sounds and images, not word lists. So become a child again, curious, playful, visual. Tip 4. Talk to yourself in English. Your best speaking partner is you. This one might feel a little strange at first, but it's incredibly effective. Talking to yourself in English helps you practice without pressure. No fear of mistakes. No judgment. Just you and your voice. Start small. When you're doing your daily routine, speak quietly in English. For example, when you're cooking. Okay, I need some onions. Let me cut them. The oil is hot now. Or when you're getting ready to go out. Where are my keys? Oh, here they are. I'm leaving in 5 minutes. If you do this often, your brain begins to think in English because it's easier to continue in the same language you're speaking in. You can also make it fun. Pretend you're a commentator on your own life. For example. And now Paul walks into the kitchen, brave and sleepy, searching for his morning coffee. It might sound funny, but this method removes fear and builds fluency. Remember, fluency grows when you use English, even if no one is listening. If you feel shy, whisper softly or record a voice note on your phone. At the end of the day, you can even listen to it again and notice your progress. Tip 5. Describe what you see around you. This is one of my favorite techniques, because you can do it anywhere. No books, no notebooks, just your eyes and your thoughts. Look around your room right now. Can you describe what you see in English? Let's try together. There's a window on my left. The sunlight is coming through. My desk is brown. I see a notebook, a pen, and a cup of coffee. That's it. Simple, natural, real English. No translation needed. You just described what's right in front of you. Do this a few times a day. When you walk outside, describe what you see. A red car is passing by. A dog is barking. 2 kids are laughing near the shop. When you describe your surroundings in English, you connect your thoughts, your senses, and your language, directly. It's a fun and relaxing way to train your mind to stay in English mode all day long. Tip 6. Immerse yourself. Create an English environment around you. You don't have to live in London or New York to think in English. You can create your own little English world right where you are. Here's how. Change your digital life to English. Change your phone's language to English. Change your computer, your favorite apps, even your Netflix interface. At first, it feels confusing. But soon, you start learning naturally, words like settings, update, notifications, download, delete. You see them again and again. And guess what? You'll remember them forever, without studying. Next, follow English content creators on YouTube, Instagram, or TikTok. But don't just watch, listen, pause, and repeat short phrases. For example, if someone says, "That's awesome," repeat it aloud. If they say, "I can't believe it," say it again. Copy the rhythm, not just the words. The more your eyes and ears see English, the more your brain begins to operate in English. You can also label things in your home with sticky notes. Put a note that says mirror on your mirror, door on your door, cup on your cup. It may sound silly, but it really works, because your environment becomes your teacher. When you surround yourself with English, you remove the gap between study time and real life. English stops being something you switch on and off. It becomes something you live with. That's how you stop translating. Because when English is all around you, your brain has no reason to go back to your native language. It just stays in English mode automatically. Tip 7. Think in English about your feelings. Now, this one is special, and very powerful. We often talk to ourselves emotionally in our native language, when we're happy, sad, angry, or excited. So start doing that in English too. When you're happy, think, "I feel great today. I did a good job." When you're sad. I feel tired. I need a rest. It's okay to feel this way. When you're stressed. Take a deep breath. Everything will be okay. This helps you connect English to your emotions, not just to grammar or vocabulary. That's when you start feeling the language. And here's the secret, the moment you start feeling in English, you stop translating completely. Because emotions don't need translation. They are direct, raw, and human, and English becomes the language of your inner voice. You're doing great. You've already learned how to visualize words, how to talk to yourself, how to describe the world, and how to immerse yourself in English. These are powerful daily tools that train your brain naturally. Step 5. Create an English bubble around you. Paul. Let's start with something really practical. You don't need to live in London or New York to think in English. You can create your own English world right where you are. Think of it as your personal English bubble. Start by changing small things. Change your phone language to English. Switch your Netflix subtitles to English. Listen to English podcasts while cooking, cleaning, or walking. Read short articles every morning, even one paragraph helps. The more you see and hear English, the more your brain accepts it as normal. You stop translating because you start associating meanings directly with English words, not your native language. It's like this, when you see rain, you don't think Orluvia or Regan anymore. You just imagine drops, the smell of wet ground, and an umbrella. That's direct association, that's fluency. Step 6. Use English for thinking, even when alone. Paul. Here's a secret I tell all my students. If you want to think in English, you must actually use English inside your mind. So how do you do that? Start by narrating your daily life in English. When you wake up, say quietly in your head. Okay, I'm getting up now. Let me brush my teeth. I'm feeling lazy, but I should make some coffee. Sounds simple, right? But that's how you rewire your brain. You're teaching it. Hey brain, we don't need translation anymore, we can handle English directly. And once that becomes a habit, you'll find yourself naturally forming English thoughts. You'll stop thinking, how do I say this in English? And start saying it effortlessly. Step 7. Practice speaking slowly, but naturally. Paul. A big reason people translate in their heads is because they rush. They want to sound fluent, fast. But here's the truth. Speed doesn't mean fluency. Clarity does. So, slow down when you speak. Give your brain time to form sentences naturally. When you focus on expressing ideas, not words, translation disappears. Think of the idea. I'm heading out to buy something. Boom, smoother, more natural English. Fluency isn't about speed. It's about flow. And flow comes when you think in English, not when you chase translations. Step 8. Train with input and output balance. Paul. Now let's talk about the magic formula, input and output. Think of your brain as a sponge. Input is what you absorb, reading, listening, watching. Output is what you produce, speaking and writing. Many learners focus too much on one side. They either read too much and never speak. Or speak a lot but don't feed their brain with new words or expressions. You need both. Try this daily exercise. For every 30 minutes of listening or reading, spend 15 minutes speaking or writing. Listen to a YouTube video in English, then summarize what you heard in your own words. Read a short story, then tell it again, as if you're explaining it to a friend. When you do this, your brain connects English comprehension with expression, naturally. And guess what? You stop translating automatically, because you're learning in context. Step 9. Use chunks instead of words. Paul. Now, this one is a game changer. Stop memorizing individual words. Start learning chunks, short, ready-to-use word combinations that native speakers actually use. For example, by the way, at the end of the day, as far as I know, you know what I mean. That makes sense. These chunks are like mental Lego blocks. You can combine them to build real English sentences fast, without translating. Instead of thinking, I need to find words for. You simply recall the chunk. I think that. It's faster, smoother, and 100% natural. You can even make a chunk diary, write 10 useful phrases daily and practice using them in mini conversations. Within a few weeks, your brain will start pulling them out automatically, no translation needed. Step 10. Build emotional connection with English. Paul. Here's something people don't talk about enough: emotions. You can't think in English if English feels like just another school subject. You need to make it personal. Emotional. Watch movies that make you laugh or cry, in English. Listen to songs that move you. Read stories that inspire you. When you feel something in English, your brain starts linking emotions with language. And that's the real connection. That's when English becomes your language. Think about your favorite English quote. Maybe something like, "Believe you can and you're halfway there." Say it out loud. Feel it. That emotional connection rewires your mind faster than any grammar rule ever will. Step 12. Use AI or friends for real practice. Paul. Now, to take things to the next level, interact. Talk with people who understand your journey, online, on apps, or even with AI chat tools like me. The goal is simple: practice expressing real thoughts. The more natural your conversations, the less you translate. You could even record voice notes of yourself speaking English daily and listen back later. You'll literally hear your growth week by week. And here's something funny: you'll also notice that the thinking pause in your brain starts to shrink. That's the sound of translation dying. That's fluency being born. Step 13. Reward yourself for progress. Paul. Your brain loves rewards. It's wired to repeat what feels good. So celebrate your milestones. Finished a full podcast without subtitles. Reward yourself. Held a 5-minute English conversation. Treat yourself to your favorite snack. Wrote your first diary page in English. Smile and say, "I did it." Every time you celebrate progress, your brain says, "Oh, this feels nice. Let's do it again." And just like that, English stops being stressful and becomes enjoyable. Alright, my friend. We've reached the end of this journey together. Let's take a moment to look back at everything you've done. You've learned how to stop translating in your head. You've discovered how to immerse yourself in English naturally. You've built new habits, learned the power of thinking in pictures, and started living through English emotions. That's not small progress, that's transformation. And from this moment on, every thought, every sentence, every word you speak in English is a victory. So whenever you doubt yourself, remember this. You don't need to try to think in English anymore. You're already doing it. Thank you so much for listening to Think English with Paul. If this episode helped you, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to the channel. Bye.